Out of Left Field is presented by the Lehigh Valley Health Network. Welcome everyone to Out of Left Field. I'm Ken Kara. Thank you so much for watching. We start this episode in Drums. We're going to take a journey of hundreds of miles with a man who went running to connect, to heal, and to make a difference. In April of 2020, with the Hazleton area in lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, two local teachers challenged their students and themselves. David Gould was teaching his kids online about self-discipline, maturity, and independence. Gould and fellow teacher Melissa Ritz decided to run to 75 students' homes to deliver progress reports. Ritz ran 90 miles and Gould ran 102 while visiting students of the Drums Elementary Middle School.
Well, it definitely is one of the few last remaining community schools in the district. What makes it so interesting is that, number one, that our community is super involved within the school through the PTA, but we also have a lot of the members of the community who are also staff members as well.
Just a few months after running to visit his students, Gould's son Cade, who went to school at Drums, passed away. The Drums Elementary Middle School community rallied around Gould and his family with support and then an idea for a memorial.
So we all wanted to do something. David was a teacher in our school, and we wanted to do something to memorialize not only his loss, but other students that have been lost and left behind. So the initial thought was just a structure that would provide coverage and shelter for people, and something he could look out of his window and see, something that he could remember too when he looked out and he would see it. So that was kind of where it started.
Drums principal Matt Marnell came up with the idea for an outdoor classroom. With the idea in place, they now needed the funds. Once again, the Drums community rallied. They were ready to do whatever they could to get the project done. For example, Lisa Bachman, a member of the Drums PTA and a family friend of the Goulds, learned how to apply for grants. Students brought in donations to class, and David Gould laced up his shoes and got ready to run for his school once again. Gould started a Facebook page to post about his runs, raise awareness for the project, and raise some money.
The whole idea of running for the classroom, I started out running for Cade. And then it just kind of dawned on me in this one run that I'm not running for Cade, I'm running with Cade. I felt this spiritual connection, not to get too weird about that, but I just felt closer to him. And we had another dear friend that had passed away a couple months before Cade had passed away. And on this particular run, my thoughts went to him. And I often commented, if you see a grown man running down the road crying, that's probably going to be me, because it was just a heavy, deep moment that it just overwhelmed me, and I would just kind of tear up. So athleticism in the beginning, but then it became reconnecting with my son that had passed away, and then also working towards something bigger than myself, and that was the most meaningful part of running for me right now.
So Gould changed his mindset and the name of his Facebook page from Run for Cade to David Gould insists this story is not about running. He says it's about community and about people getting out of their comfort zones to help others. David left his comfort zone by not just posting updates on his progress for Run with Cade, but also posting about his grief. Inspiration from his wife Rebecca helped him with each step during his runs and with each stroke of the keyboard.
My wife is really my role model, because after our son passed away 18 months later, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And once again, the Drums community wrapped their arms around us. We didn't have a moment to feel like we were alone. And I saw her posting and being very public about her journey so she could help others, just as people had helped her through her diagnosis. So she was an inspiration to me that maybe I can go to social media, talk about this project, do something to get attention and bring a light to it.
Within 11 days of being together, Becky and David got a ring. David says you can call it love at first sight. Becky says they complement each other. David is organized and likes a plan. Becky is more go with the flow. And while she loves a good hike,
I'm not a runner. If I'm running, you better run. Something's chasing, yes.
So she wasn't running for any causes, but she found her own way to help others by talking about what she was going through online.
So I started sharing about my grief after I lost Cade. I just felt that I needed people to know you're not alone, that there's people that, you know, love and support you, and I was just so humbled by the outpouring of love from our community. And then to be diagnosed with cancer, you know, 18 months later, the community just kept showing up for me, and I thought, if they can show up for me, I can show up for me. So you always have to have hope. And that was just a message I wanted people to know, that things can go wrong and things could be terrible, but there is always light, and you just got to keep looking for the light.
Helping others may be one of the reasons she stepped way out of her comfort zone and into a chair in front of a camera to tell others how she's working on moving forward and being positive through her grief.
I think it's a combination of things. I've definitely had some therapy, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you learn that grief is, you know, people think there's like stages of grief that you move through them and then it's done.
That's you're done.
Yeah, no. You know, grief is always part of you, and you learn to carry it. So you learn to, you know, there'll be days that it might strike you in a bathroom, you know, randomly. And I've had that happen. You know, I've walked into a store and I've seen, you know, a Pop-Tart, and it made me think of them. You know, just random things will hit you, but you have to always know, like, I always tell myself, this isn't it. You know, this isn't it. And Cade is okay. I know that, and I know he's with us, and I know we will see him again. So I know we just keep moving, and the veil's thin, and I'm gonna live my best life for him until I can be with him on the other side.
David covered 291.37 miles during his journey to help bring attention and funds to the Drums Outdoor Classroom project. On his final run after a snowstorm in the area, he was struggling. David needed to find a finish line. After 23 of 26 miles on that final day of running, he found himself finishing up at the Drums Elementary Middle School, the place where he teaches and where his son Cade had some of the best days of his life.
Not everybody can run. Not everybody even wants to go outside and walk. And I said, you know, whatever your thing is, if it's reading, if it's painting, whatever it is where you just get to that place where you can, you know, kind of put things in perspective, you know, make sure you have that. You know, make sure you find the time to find whatever your thing is. And if it could be for you what running was for me, you know, I would want that for everybody, because running has just been, it's been therapy. It's just helped me through all of this.
The Goulds would like to find a way to raise money for those suffering with grief who can't afford help. Until then, they'll continue to keep Cade with them while sharing their story.
Just always have hope. You know, there is so much light in this world, and you have to always look for the light. You know, it's easy to find the negative, but you really have to look for the light. And when you find the light, stay close to it.
If you want to help the Drums Elementary Middle School complete their outdoor classroom, you can make a donation by going to GoFundMe.com and searching Drums Outdoor Classroom, and you could play in their golf tournament on April 29th at Sand Springs.